Hello, my name's Lorna Payne. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Surrey and Borders. As many of you know, I had to go to Australia very recently, and unfortunately to be with my mum, and she then passed away. So I was really sorry to have been absent for so long, but I'm now back with you all, and I just want to thank you all for all the support you gave me because it was a really hard time for me, but I knew that I had fantastic colleagues here looking after the trust and looking after all of you. And I really just want to start by saying just how grateful I am for everything you are doing every single day. You've just been absolutely amazing. You're really living our values and with everything you're doing, with all of the kindness you're showing each other. And I just want to say that that's what we are. That's what we are at Surrey and Borders. I know that many of you will have watched, I certainly did, the Prime Minister speaking and asking us all to do what we can to keep everyone safe. And that's what you're doing. Everyone in the front line of that effort is really helping. And it's really, really humbling for me to see just how much you are staying calm, that you're delivering the care to people in a way that is all about what Surrey and Borders is, whether that's in inpatient settings, in residential homes, or in the community. You're just doing your bit. And we're just in really uncharted territory here. Everything's changing in Surrey, in the UK, and across the world. And we're having to do things in really different ways and at a pace that none of us would have ever imagined. But you're all stepping up to do the things that we need doing. And I know that we've had fantastic support from staff in our support services. Our digital guys are doing everything they can to get kit out to you and just helping you work out how to use that kit, whether that's at home or in frontline services. We're trying to get things out to you as quickly and as easily as possible. And we've had to shift really the way we're working, like working from home as the routine way in which we are working. For those of us that aren't delivering frontline care, that's been a real struggle because we want to be there with you and we want to really show that our presence is with you. But we also need to know that we've got to keep the ship on the road. And if we aren't doing what we're meant to be doing, then that's not going to work for any of us. But it is a real tension and it's something that we're really struggling with. I think, we can see that people are really working very long hours, and it's really important that we all take time out. We'll all do our jobs better if we take that time out. And one of the areas that I want to talk about that has been causing quite a deal of anxiety amongst us all is the kind of varying guidance we've had around personal protective equipment. We in Surrey and Borders are following the national guidance, but that national guidance has been changing, and we know that sometimes that can be confusing for people. And I've asked Justin and Heather to do some conversations with you about personal protective equipment as well as testing, and they'll come out in the next few days. But I want to reassure you that we are doing what we can to make sure we get you the kit as soon as we can. We are always following government advice, and any changes that come, we are monitoring them. We go through what that means for Surrey and Borders, and we're letting you know as soon as possible. Ordering, we've been doing that as much as we can to ensure we've got sufficient supply and that we get that out to you as soon as possible. We've set up a control centre, and that's operating on the weekends from 8 to 8 and during the week as well. And we're making sure that we've got the right level of people and support looking after those control centres so that we can give you the information when and as soon as you need it. If you feel as though you aren't getting the things that you need, then please be in touch with us directly. There's a coronavirus email address on Surrey and Borders. Use that. It's regularly monitored, and we try and make sure that we give the information out to you. We're sending out daily comms, and they are, that's a dedicated coronavirus communications message. And please look at that regularly for information that you need to be able to deliver deliver the services that we so desperately want to have in place for people we're looking after. Some of you have been asking about what's going to happen about redeployment and when will it happen. We don't have a specific date as yet because it's very dependent on the staffing levels in our essential services. And we are monitoring that on a daily basis. We know exactly how many staff aren't able to be at work and those that are now able to return to work. So we're making sure that we monitor that very closely so that we're able to cover any shortfalls in staffing, whether that be in our inpatient, home treatment team, in spas, psych liaison, our residential homes, wherever we are delivering essential care, we are monitoring the staffing levels. If you're not working on site, what are the kind of roles that you can do? We know that there are support services that we are able to put in place, and staff should only be attending on site where there is a business critical need to do so. So please keep yourself and others safe by adhering to those very clear guidelines that we've put in place and that we're following, that the government has put in place. Making sure we keep a safe distance, wash the hands, keep them very much in line with the government guidelines, washing the hands for 20 seconds and making sure that we keep ourselves safe, including the distance between each other, not going out when we don't need to. In terms of having a choice about different roles and what you might be able to do, there's definitely going to be that. We're trying to make sure that we redeploy staff into the areas that they feel most familiar with and most equipped to be able to deal with. And certainly if you feel as though you're not able to deal with things that you've been allocated to, then make sure you raise them with your line manager. We know that we have some of our staff that have got particular challenges, whether that's through disability or through conditions that make it difficult for them to be able to be in their usual place of work. We will make all reasonable adjustments to make you able to work safely and effectively. And we know that for some people, you might be living with somebody who is at higher risk and that you don't want to leave home during that outbreak. You can work from home if you, and you should do so. And we want to make sure that we're able to support you so that you don't feel anxious during a time when you've got other things that you need to be giving priority to. We want to support staff who've got caring responsibilities, and that's something that we are very committed to and really recognise that that's what part of our role is in Australian Borders, to support staff and make sure that you're able to do what you can do. If you become unwell during a period, many of you have been asking, will you continue to be paid? We will be continuing with the same sickness arrangements that apply. But if you have to isolate for 2 weeks and are worried about whether you'll be paid or not, a self-isolation period of 7 or 14 days is being recorded separately from sickness, and you will be paid full pay during this time. If you've got a child, for example, that's sick, please just follow the comms in relation to that were sent out last week. It's probably fair to say that, for a lot of us, the business as usual is looking very different. It's not business as usual. It's, as others say, business as unusual. And I think let's make sure that we are focusing on the essential things that we need to do. Look after yourself. Make sure you look after each other. And I think, just remember that your colleagues are there for you. If you want to be in touch with execs or any of their senior managers, if you've got Teams, use it, send a message to coronavirus. We're trying to connect in as many ways as possible with you. And that means often we're going to be doing these conversations from my living room and random kind of noises that are interrupting our conversation. But please know that we're there for you. We really appreciate everything you're doing every day. Whatever you're doing, it's going to help us deliver the right care for people that need it in Surrey. And that's what we're aiming to do. And we know that you are trying your very best in often very difficult circumstances. But remember, we are all there for each other and we need to support each other during this time. I'm there for you. You're there for me. And I think we're in this together. And I think we're really proud at Australian Borders of our staff, because you are really our heroes. And I just want to really thank you for everything you're doing every day. You're just amazing.